Yeah, hope. Hi all, good morning. Hope you're doing well, and I hope everyone enjoyed Diwali and India versus Australia cricket. Sorry, India versus Pakistan cricket match. Enjoyed Virat great innings. So okay, apart from all these things, we should come back and focus on our work. So far, we have covered some basics in HTML and CSS. Okay, so far we have completed 10 sessions, right? I think in these 10 sessions, we learned fundamentals of HTML and HTML5, and we have learned CSS. In that, really, we covered a flexbox, and before that, we have covered the box model. Okay, flexbox box models are very important, and it's a grid. Okay, we didn't get a chance to discuss with the grid, but that is assignment for you. Okay, it's not a big deal. You can understand easily through the documentation. Why I'm not taking like 10 to 15 sessions on HTML and 10 sessions or 15 sessions on CSS means like in interviews or in of course once you get a job everything is important, but before going for an interview process, JavaScript and React, these are very important. Okay, so HTML and CSS, if I provide the basic knowledge, you can learn through documentation, through some tutorials, you can learn easily. It's not a big deal, but JavaScript is not like that. So we can utilize more time for JavaScript and React programming. That's why I have provided a basic knowledge on HTML5 and CSS. Now we are going to enter into the CSS frameworks. One week, this week we are going to discuss one framework that is called Bootstrap. And the next week we are going to discuss another framework, Tailwind CSS. Okay, so we know CSS and we know Flexbox, we know box model. Then why we need a framework? That is the important question. Just a minute. Yeah. Anyone of you just ping me the URL of your work you have published in the GitHub, right? Just ping me what you have done quickly. Everyone. Like with Flexbox, just Amazon, you have done something right. A phone this kalwa. Dore se. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just quickly ping me. Wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. So if you see, I think has done this. Balavardhan, you done with just basic HTML and CSS, right? If I'm not wrong,
Yes.
with the help of Flexbox. Let's see how it is going to display in the mobile. Nice. It's not breaking. Okay, very good. Okay. Anyone else has done something? Babita. Oh, you're getting some error. Like, what's that? Deceptive some. Okay, we can do it later because it is something different. Okay, this is one thing. What he's done something instruct for this one. What is the third one? Sultana. Oh, she has. You're done almost. Fantastic. Like, very good. This Amazon logo, this coming in different rows. Okay, once we learn JavaScript or some CSS frameworks, we can do much more better. But you tried with HTML and CSS this much. This is fantastic. Oh, very good. Even this is also very good. Like it's in desktop view, it's perfect. Okay, very good, Sultana. And okay, because whatever we have learned so far, with that knowledge, this is great. Okay, because just 10 sessions, right? 10 sessions with just HTML, CSS, Flexbox. But if you put more time, definitely you can do much more better way. But this is awesome. Okay, so if you observe carefully, he has done a registration form. Right now, it's looking perfect in desktop view. So now if you see in the mobile view, it's not breaking. It's not breaking. But if you see, we have enough space, right? In mobile, we should design separate like it. In a mobile, we have a small screen so that we can occupy whole screen actually. In when it comes to the mobile screen, we should not restrict like this in a desktop view because desktop is very big, so we can't give a text box from this side to this side, this side to this side. It doesn't look good. But when it comes to the mobile, it's better to utilize the whole space because we have mobile screen size is very small, and user we should provide a better user interface uh, to a user, make his job should be easy, right? So right now, okay, this is fine, but we are not able to see the font size and all those things, right? So what we need to do when it comes to the mobile, we should utilize the whole space, okay, and we should dis align or doing the placements and everything in a better way. So for that, with normal CSS, and of course, we can achieve everything with the HTML and CSS, but it's really painful. Actually, it's really painful. So for that, okay, we got some frameworks. Okay, framework is simple. Framework is nothing but they will provide one CSS file. Simple. They will provide one CSS file. How? Suppose if you see, already we have done something, right? So about.css file is there. About.css file is there. If you go to about.html file, if you go to our about.html file, 1 minute, we can just remove everything here, remaining things so that it's easy. Okay, I'm just removing everything. Okay, we can start from here. So if you see the total CSS of your HTML file, okay, what are the styles and what are the things you want to utilize in about.html file. Okay, instead of doing inline styling, instead of adding the styles, internal styles like this, okay, you can do the third way. What is that? Just put all your CSS in separate file. Just put all the CSS in separate file, and you can utilize like this. So if you see, I'm just putting some heading here, heading like Amazon cloth. Okay. So now just open that file, and it's in desktop. The folder name is Amazon. The file name is about. Okay, we have heading. So we didn't apply any styles in this file, but we provided the styles in about.css file and you have imported. That means, okay, instead of writing everything in your internal, like internal style, you have taken separate CSS file and you have placed everything. So if you see, you can do things like background color, you can add. So padding, I'm just applying 10 pixel and applying like margin also 10 pixel. Okay, I want to add border 1 pixel solid, like some black. So you can apply these styles. So just refresh the file, reload the page. Okay, you got the design. So now if you see, suppose you have done this CSS, you have done this. Of course, I did. It's not looking good. But suppose you have done a, suppose if you want to design, suppose he has done this one. So he applied all the CSS. Okay, and if he placed all the CSS in one file and he applied like this, suppose after watching this, I really impressed with this style. So I don't want to rewrite the CSS. I don't want to rewrite the CSS. Okay, because already Balavardhan has done, so that I can take the CSS from his code. So if you see, if we put all this code in a separate CSS file, and if we send this CSS file to me, and if I copy paste those styles here, it will work out, right? So if you see, if you create a HTML file, in that you just put a heading tag. Okay, I will give this above.css file to you, and you can place that above.css file in your folder structure. And if you just give a reference to that CSS file, it will work. You don't need to worry about these things, because if you like this CSS, you can utilize this CSS from this file. So in that process, in the same way, because CSS frameworks, they will provide this kind of CSS file. They have written lots of CSS, and they are providing it for free of cost for us. So what you need to do, what they have done, what they have written, we should just utilize those styles easily. Okay. For that, here we need to understand one more important thing. Okay, in this process. Okay, in this process. Okay, here we will apply styles based on element name and based on ID, right? Based on ID. Suppose ID equal to, okay, my header or something. Okay, I'm just putting my header. This is the ID. So you can apply styles like this also. Okay, my the header. So if you see, it will work properly. It will work. It will work properly, right? No, it's not working. What? Why? If it is a ID, right? So we should use the selector properly. So now it will work. Now it will work. Okay, it's fantastic. So another way is there. One is utilize the H1 like elements like this. If you just put H1 tag, it will apply all the styles for H1s. Another one is you can put a class name. Okay, if you can put a class name, you can give header. Class name is called header. So here, if you want to use apply styles based on the class name, so you should utilize this selector, CSS selector. Okay, and you can apply these styles. Okay. So we have three ways. One is with the help of element name. Another one is with the help of ID. Another one is with the help of classes. Okay. So if you see, if I comment these two things, okay, with the help of classes also, it will work properly. Okay, it's working. So if you want to cross check, just change the color to light green. So just refresh the file, it will work properly. That means you can choose anyway, but here the most important thing is, you, because CSS framework, when you are building a CSS framework or when you are creating a separate CSS file, And if you want to share that CSS to any other person in the world, if you want to design for your website, okay, no problem. You can go with a HTML element or class names or anything like ID. But when you are sharing your code, when you are sharing your CSS to other person, it's not a better idea. It's not good to create a CSS with the help of h1 tag and these things. Okay, it's always good to create classes, because if you use the h1 tag, okay, maybe it will break um, any other code in other person's code. And if you use id, suppose if he has done with the same id, it will be a problem because id is very unique. But most of the times whenever you are use the class, okay, normally even though other person use the same class, okay, we can change it actually, because class is, we can use the class for group of elements. Okay, more than one element requires the same style, kind of style, we can go with the classes. So always, in any way, if you want to see, the classes are very good choice for the framework. So they are preferring to dealing with all the classes, and they will provide a css, a beautiful big css file to you, that is called a framework. Okay, framework is nothing but, so they have done a lot of best practices, they have done a lot of work in the css. So they have feel that, okay, if you, because instead of everyone is feeling pain to design something like especially responsive design, so that they have created lots of classes for us in that framework. And with the help of classes, we can design in a very very simple way. That is a simple introduction about a framework. Okay, so and they will deal most of the times with the classes. Okay, now tell me, understood or do you have any question so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everyone. Okay, this is the, you should be habituated. You should be you should understand that whenever the trainer is asking a question, you should respond yes or no. Okay, if you don't ask the question, if you don't answer the like big things, no problem. But I'm asking whether you understood or not. If you don't understand, tell me clearly, sir, I didn't understand, so that I can repeat. But in the live session, sometimes we can't repeat the whole thing, but at least I can repeat where you didn't understand. Okay. Okay, fine. Very good. Super. So we need a framework. We need a framework. So here in the market, we have lots of frameworks are there. So, but in those all CSS frameworks, okay, these three are very very popular and useful. Those are Bootstrap and Material UI and Tailwind CSS. Okay, actually nowadays everyone, most of the people are preferring Tailwind CSS. All the new projects, everyone is like, everyone means most of the people are preferred to use the Tailwind CSS. Still, these are popular. Okay, but why everyone will teach Bootstrap for the fresh, like new learners means Bootstrap is a very simple, and Bootstrap is almost the first popular CSS framework, and it is very simple actually. It is very simple, so that it's better to start with the Bootstrap. Once you understand the framework, greatness of the framework, and how we need to understand how to use the framework. Once you understand those fundamentals, then it's easy to use either Material UI or Tailwind CSS or any other things in the market. So that, okay, even I'm also preferring to teach you the Bootstrap first. Okay, this whole week we can focus on the Bootstrap. Of course, 1 week is not enough, but at least I can provide the fundamentals on that. Later I will provide some best tutorial, I will suggest you a best tutorial in the YouTube. You can follow that and you can learn in a deeper way. Okay, of course, next week, as we discussed, we are going to learn Tailwind CSS also. Once we enter into Tailwind CSS, I will explain what is a greatness of Tailwind CSS and how easy is Tailwind CSS. Okay, now hopefully you are ready to learn Bootstrap. So the simple fundamental thing is, okay, when it comes to the responsive design, if you go with a normal CSS, it's really painful. I think already you have experience. If you have done a practice, hopefully definitely you got some pain. So if you experience that pain, then once you learn Bootstrap, you will feel very happy. Or if you didn't practice, like you will never feel happiness in programming world. Okay, fantastic. Now we are going to enter into the CSS framework. So for that, I'm going to create a separate folder. Okay, so far we have done with the Amazon folder, so we can stick with that. Now, so in that folder, I'm going to create subfolder. So now I'm going to work on this folder. Okay, if you have got confusion, create another folder on desktop and just work on that. So here I'm working. So let's see, we can build a website for SVGIE. So one simple projects. Otherwise, even you can create a folder with a name called projects. So, but it's not a good thing because in Amazon we can't put subfolder as projects. We can do one thing in the desktop, as I'm just creating a separate folder like projects. In that, the first project, because we don't have a website for SVGIE, so of course this is not going to be a production one. Let's see, we can start with this SVGIE. So in this, okay, in VS Code, what you need to do, just right click a new window. So I think I've opened a lot of windows. Okay, open folder, desktop. Let's go with the projects and go with SVGIE. Just select folder. Okay, here nothing is there. It's a completely empty folder. Now we are going to walk here. So anyway, if you want to create a website, we need HTML file, right? So I'm just creating index dot the HTML file, index.html file, and just create a basic template and just change the title. Okay, of whatever the project you are doing. Suppose you can do a project on Amazon, e-commerce site, or any restaurant, anything, whichever you like. Just start with that. Okay, don't follow exactly what I'm doing. Okay, just try to do something different. Then it's going to be very interesting for you. So the desktop. So I want to open that one. Okay, I will show you lots of shortcuts in coming days, but right now, still we are in beginner, so that's why I'm just using simple ways to uh, simple practices. So now nothing is there. In here, I'm just putting like one h1 tag that is called svgie. Save it and refresh. So same. So now what we discussed, we need to use the CSS framework. CSS framework means they will provide one CSS file for us. We can place that CSS file and we can utilize. Okay, so let's say just open Bootstrap. Just type Bootstrap in the Google. Okay, this is the Bootstrap. So I think new version came. No problem. Just go to the docs. Okay, documentation. Okay, here they will provide you all the information. So I will share this link also to you. for safe side. Okay, here what we have discussed, they will provide a CSS file, right? So let's see where is that CSS file, how they will provide to us. So if you see, if you want to utilize that CSS, there are two ways. One thing, you should download the CSS file to your local folder. Another one is they will place that CSS file, they will place that CSS file in the cloud. I will tell you what is cloud and all those things. Suppose CDN, suppose CDN. Okay, there is a place called CDN, like common. Okay, sometimes I forgot these abbreviations. Common, one minute. CDN, common data network or something. I will tell you later what's the abbreviation. Okay, one minute. We can check it. CDN meaning common data network, right? Content delivery network. Sorry, because I slept at 2 o'clock, so that we can't remember. What is that? CDN means content delivery network. It is a place. It is a place. It's like cloud platform somewhere. Okay, you don't need to download the file. Just if you just give a URL of that file, okay, you should, if you have an internet connection, you can, those CSS will load in your HTML file. Let's see, don't worry, we are going to see that one. Otherwise, here in this they will provide some CSS file and they will give a path like https colon something, okay, and some bootstrap.css. So if you just open this URL, you will get all the CSS and that will apply on your HTML file. So another one is you can download it, but now it's better to use the CDN. I will tell you what is the advantage of using that, because if any changes happen done by the Bootstrap team, always they will put the latest code in that CDN, right? So it's better to use the CDN. It's always we will get the latest code. So if you want to work on that, they will provide some CSS file. So this is the CSS file. They will provide one JavaScript file also to do some more interesting things. So even though we don't know about JavaScript, no problem. Just copy that URL. So instead of putting all the pressure, what you need to do, just go to this file and just click on this. It will copy the code, that basic HTML structure with references, and do Control A, Control V. Okay, nothing. Okay, with for the simple HTML template, they have added two things, that is which is there at line number 7. Another one is which is there at line number 11. Okay, the line number 11 is a JavaScript file, .js JavaScript file. So for we didn't learn of JavaScript, don't worry about that, but keep that file here. Okay, we can discuss about that later. And here this is a simple CSS file, nothing more than that. So, and if you see bootstrap.min.css means it's a minified version, means you can't see exact code. They will compress the code and they will give that part. Otherwise, if you want to see the full CSS, definitely they will provide another one. We can discuss about the those things later. So just if we just give a reference of this thing. So if you see, even in that Amazon folder, just go to desktop, Amazon, where is about.html file. Okay, this is about, right? So I'm just opening that. What we have done here, we have provided a reference to the CSS file, right? In the about.html page, about.html. What you have done, you have given a link, relation, style sheet, h reference. You have provided the path for the CSS. Okay, in this example, that CSS file is there in your folder structure. That's why you put dot forward slash and you have provided the path. But here in this example, in this bootstrap, if you see, this is also link. We are providing the href. Okay, that href is there in the cloud in the internet, so that you need to give a full path of that and relation style sheet, and they have provided some another um, attribute. Right now you don't need to worry about that, you don't need to touch something. So cross origin anonymous, these things are different, we can discuss about those things later, but don't try to delete them, so keep it as it is. So here he has provided some path, right? Let's see what is available in this path. So it's a minified version of that original CSS file. So if you see, this is the code. Here he has created lots of classes for us, and you can utilize those classes because maybe thousands of lines are, I think more than 1,000 lines of code is there. Okay, don't worry, it's very simple. It's not, it's just a CSS file. It is minified version. That means compressed version. Otherwise you will see the styles like this. If you don't compress, you can see the file. Okay, how they have written, I will show you in a few minutes. That file also definitely they will provide that link here. 1 minute, hopefully CDN link is there. Import your response, I think. 1 minute, somewhere I have read seen that the bootstrap documentation only. They will provide the three ways you can download the files to local, everything. Whether I know. Okay, we can do. I will show it late. I think tomorrow it will be there. So download. Okay. So this is the compiled CSS and JavaScript version. You can download it and you can utilize it. And CDN via. This is we are using the second way. This third way, package manager. So that without that minified version, where we will get that full file. Okay, I will show it to you later. This is simple. Now we can focus on the bootstrap. So we are saying that they will provide lots of classes to make it our CSS much more beautiful. So here, okay, anyway, hello world is there, and side by side I will create another simple HTML file like home.html. Okay, here also I will create a simple HTML file. I will copy the same code. So one is with bootstrap, one is with without bootstrap. The body, just place it. The home.html is without bootstrap, index.html is with bootstrap. So open those two files. Let's see, do you found any difference? So index file is there. Okay, this is the bootstrap file. This is normal file. So do you observe anything different from these two files? If you found, just tell me.
Font size increase है ना 1 degree.
Yeah, if you see, there's something font size increased and the font style also, maybe font family. If you see, this is font family of this is different, and once you apply the bootstrap, this is different. And observe carefully the font size and font style and, yeah, font family. Okay, so even if you disable that bootstrap in this file, it will be looks like this. Okay, let's see what are the things they have providing, and then it's easy to understand. So in docs, so normally in normal HTML we have h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6, right? In the same way, in the same way, they have provided classes for these h1 to h6. Now if you see in index.html, this is the h1, right? So suppose I'm creating a paragraph. Just observe carefully. This is a paragraph. This is a paragraph. I'm writing, I'm ready to learn Bootstrap. Okay. So here I'm using a class name called h1. Okay, I'm not using HTML element called h1 here. Okay, right now without that, how it is going to be looks like. So I'm closing that previous one. This is home.html. So now we can focus on the Bootstrap. So refresh. Now if you see, this is a simple paragraph. Okay, even though normal paragraph in HTML file is has a different font size or something, font style, here also different because they have designed, they have utilized, even if you use a simple paragraph also, they are in the background, they are applying some styles with the Bootstrap. Okay, that's why it is changing. So this is the normal paragraph. But if you see, if you want to make this highlight like a heading, so just put h1. Class is h1. That means based on this class, they are providing some styles. That's it. Nothing more than that. Save it and refresh this file. So if you see, both are equal now. So even though if you use the paragraph, whatever it is, the text, if you want to make it looks like a h1 tag of Bootstrap. Okay, this is a h1 tag of Bootstrap. So if you apply that class, if you apply that class, it will apply styles equal to h1 tag. So this is the one class. So let's see, suppose if you give a h2, so it will reduce some font size. In the same way, it is providing 6. I think it's providing 6 h1 to h6. There is the class layout. Okay, so this is there in the typography. Don't worry. You see, these are bootstrap headings. Okay, these are bootstrap headings. So in the normal HTML, um, those are completely uh, plain. If you use normal h1 tag, h2 tag in the bootstrap, even though if you don't ask them to change the style, they will provide some default styles for those h1 to h6. So these are the 6 things. Of course, in HTML also we have only 6, that h1 to h6. In the Bootstrap also we have h1 to h6. So that's your choice. Whatever you want, you can utilize h1, h2, h6. But even if you have a paragraph and if you want to apply similar styles like a heading, okay, I don't know in which situation we will convert, we will give styles equal to header to a paragraph content, but that is possible in here. That's why I'm saying. So people will get confused. Sure, the h2 is a HTML element, that how we can do as a class name. No problem, because it will never conflict, because if you want to utilize the element, the structure is different, right? These are the tags. You should do open tag and close tag. This is the class name, so you can give any name for the class name. Even you can give your name or my name also. So that's it. So we have 6 things in Bootstrap also. So if you like h3, you can utilize. If you don't like, you can leave it. And if you see, some text is there, some text is there. So first 3 words are brighter and these are shaded, right? So if you want to apply those kind of things, simple text muted. Okay, text muted. So if you apply this class, if you apply this class to whole paragraph, it will apply those styles. So if you see, that is shaded. Okay, if you want, I will add one more paragraph. Otherwise, I will add it. Okay, what he has done, he had added one more HTML bootstrap element that is called small. I'm not sure this is there in HTML. I didn't check. So small. Okay, this is some muted. So instead of applying this style for whole paragraph, I'm applying this style for the small text. Small text. Small text. Here you can apply class as h1. ಫೋನ್ ಆದಾಗಲೇ ನೀವು తీసుకెళ్ళలేవు కదా నువ్వు మధ్యలో డిస్టర్బ్ చేయకిదిಲ್ಲ తీసుకోలేదు హోటల్ sorry so just refresh so if you see this text is like brighter and this is like muted in this way they have provided maybe hundreds of thousands of classes for different styles so this is just beginning that's why I'm just saying simple things and if you see sometimes we need bigger headings than normal headings which are available in HTML. So for that, they are providing different class display one means like H1 they have created some display 1 to 6. So these are completely bigger than normal headings. So this is the normal, right? So here if you apply class as display one, okay, this is one. So again, I will take another normal heading, bootstrap heading without the display one. Observe that carefully. Nothing here, bootstrap, you should just remember what are the class names they are provided, how they have categorized, and because we can't by heart it actually. It's very difficult to by heart. Only thing is just open the documentation and try to read once and just try to play with that and do some projects in that process you will remember so if you just we can't keep open the documentation and if you keep on reading definitely you can't remember anything so if you do some small projects every day you will remember so display one and this is normal h1 tag so if you see what is the difference between those two things so this is completely bigger so maybe these kind of things we can utilize in newspapers, right? Online newspapers. So if you want to give a big headlines, so like once Virat Kohli, okay, played very well and we got the we win or the Pakistan. So at that time, if you want to give a big heading for that, like India won in the match against the Pakistan. In normal days, we will give a small heading, right? So when it comes to the important match, when it comes to the World Cup, and it is really interesting at the time, if you want to give a big heading, so we should go for this display 1 to 6. So if you see here, so we have display 1 to 6 like H1 tags, uh, more than if you want more bigger font and size, uh, so then we can. So if you want, you can apply your own styles. Nothing. So you can say that Raghu, I know these things. Okay, if I want to apply styles, I can do one thing. Okay, I will create a separate class for me. So if you see, there's nothing. So if you know already CSS, what you can do? I can write my own CSS. So here I will put some ID or class. Okay, we can go for class only. Class equal to okay my styles, my head, my heading. Okay, my head one okay big heading you can create your own style classes also so here what you need to do so just put dot forward slash And if you want font size, again made style, nothing wrong, right? Okay, font size, the 50 pixel, font family. Okay, so like this you can create your own styles, but most of the people in the world love the styles which provided by the bootstrap because okay, you don't have too much time to write your own css. You don't need to think about okay how much font size is there, 40 or 50. Okay, it's 48 pixel, it will look good, or this fonts family is good or something. So if you like bootstrap, you can utilize those styles. If you don't like bootstrap, or if you want tailwind css styles, you can go with that. Of course, in tailwind css also, in material UI also, they will provide their own typography. So they will provide some different styles for the font, different font families. So, but here the Bootstrap is the basic and first popular CSS frameworks. That's why we are learning. So, but nothing. Even you can create your own CSS framework because if you are very good in CSS, just create classes. Okay, if you feel like H1 to H6, why can't we give headings from H1 to H10? So create 10 classes like H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, H7, H10, and like gradually increase. H1 means like 100 pixel font, H2 means 80. Like that also you can create your own CSS framework. But only thing is how many people in the world like your framework, that's matter, right? So this bootstrap loved by almost everyone in the world, like all the people who are learning CSS. Okay, today we understand two things. One is type in that typography, this bootstrap is providing different headings h1 to h6 and display 1 to display 6. And let's see, uh, okay, because this is good. Suppose if you want to mm, give this kind of text underline, or this I don't know what it is given some line in middle of the text, and if you want to highlight something, of course simple, you should just go and um, understand that CSS. So this mark highlight. So if you see, suppose if you want to give the title SVGIE should be mark. Okay, so just this mark is not a CSS. This is like HTML element, or I'm not sure whether it is they're already in HTML or it's a new thing in a Bootstrap. So mark like SVGIE, so that it will give some highlighted mix the content. So like this, if you know how to apply CSS, he has just applied some border, okay, and some background color. That's it, and he has changed some text font style. I'm not sure whether it's changed or not. It's looking same. So these are the simple basic things. So here, what only you need to understand. So you see, this is fantastic. Text decoration underline. Text decoration line through. Okay, this is fantastic. Text decoration. So if you write something, because you said I'm just writing h1 tag, I will do, okay, I do practice daily, because once when we join, everyone feels that yes, definitely I will do practice daily. But after few days, we realize that oh my God, it's really difficult for us to do the practice daily. So at the time, you can do some line like this. So especially the people like me. No, it's not. What happened? Class. Okay, don't put the dot. Means my students are doing practice. That's why it is not accepting. Okay, I do practice daily. Few days later, maybe if you feel that, if I feel that it's difficult, we can do like that. I'm just kidding. Okay, so yeah, of course you are doing great things. So these are something like there is a utilities. This is something awesome. Okay, I think already we are, I think, more than 40 minutes or 15 minutes. This is enough for today. So what we can conclude here, CSS is the, like Bootstrap is the framework on top of CSS only, and they are providing thousands of classes. You should understand those classes, the purpose of those classes, and just keep on utilizing that. Okay. Today I've explained some typography, simple things. Tomorrow we are going to learn, okay, something which are really helpful for responsive design. Okay. I can stop the live, then we can go for question and answers. Okay, team, I hope you enjoyed. Do practice and go through the documentation of the Bootstrap. You, because I'm not going to provide complete training in Bootstrap. I will provide the basic training. Then you should keep on learning. And definitely, if you have any questions, wherever you struck, definitely I will help you from that point. Bye bye. See you tomorrow again.